Hi guys, welcome to the new art journal watch along video. As I already mentioned in the last talk o'clock on Saturday, I'm going to change things up a bit. So the narrated video is going to be time-lapsed as well as the unnarrated one. I guess it just, well, I don't want to bore you with watching along for an hour. So I guess you are pretty much well used to how I work. Meanwhile, if you watch the videos for quite a while now, so I can save you some time and still pass some information. So with the page of this week, I'm using masking fluid first because I want to go in with watercolors and inks afterwards and still have some very crisp white lines. Now, the page that I make here is kind of a angry or sad one, depending, and it's very personal to me again. So the thing that I'm actually drawing here is my take on a cell, like in your body. And once that masking fluid is dried, I can just go over and paint. So unfortunately, I was stupid enough to not press the record button for the first part of the watercolor, but I pretty much just took any grayish color that I had on my palette there and painted parts of the page, which are the background of the cell, and the thing here in front is actually the evil growth in your body that makes cancer. And as you already saw from the title, I'm pretty angry that this illness or sickness exists. And I'm currently working with my family to, well, get through the support of somebody in my very close family being sick with cancer, and another person also being very, very close to me just passing away from pretty much the same kind of cancer as the other one is struggling with. So you can understand that I say fuck cancer, because it's just horrible. It's a horrible disease, and it really takes a toll on pretty much anybody. So going back to the art thing, the technical talk, I am just going over a few of the pieces with pure Prussian blue so that you have some kind of a depth or sense of dimension there. And once that is all dry, I'm just rubbing off the masking fluid. So it's really like rubber, but it's very lovely, and you can see there I have very lovely white crisp lines underneath the fluid. So it works perfectly well with watercolor, and the one that I used is Schminke. It's quite expensive, but it's definitely worth it, and the one that I used is a pen that is made for watercolors especially. So there's others for acrylics and whatnot, so maybe you want to check out which kind of masking fluid you'd want to acquire before you actually, well, spend the dollars or the euros. So now that I got my background there, I'm going in with ink and my calligraphy pen, and I'm just sketching a human being, which for me is the one suffering from cancer. So you will see later on why I think it's not a family member, but why I think it's actually the victim, the first victim of cancer. The family members of the second one. But I just go in with black ink, and I very roughly sketch with a very loose hand a human being shape, and I give it kind of a shadow here, but again, being very rough, being very loose with my strokes there. So I pretty much just want to add a figure that is not looking real, that is an exaggeration of what I saw of cancer patients, what they do look like, and or what maybe their attitude is, or what their soul looks like. You know, there's just this kind of a quote-unquote aura sometimes. And if people know that they're not gonna get better, but that they're very soon going to die of cancer, they sometimes get well, a certain look or a certain feel to them, which I'm just trying to sketch here. This is not a realistic painting, it's just pretty much the emotional state that the disease cancer, well, that it makes the family members and also the victim itself, the one battling the sickness, what it does to them. So, or what kind of emotional state they set them in. So I thought I'd go back to the background while I let the black ink dry, and I used some very lovely Prussian blue ink to go around the parts that I say are the cancerous parts of the cells, just to, well, define them a bit more, make them visible, just well, give them some definition in a way. And I'm staying abstract here in the background on purpose, because I just wanted to work with the person in the foreground, but I don't want it to take away from the focal point that is the person here. So with a synthetic brush and some black ink, I go all around that person here, and I'm adding a bit of a backdrop or a shadow, again with black ink, but also very loosely. I don't want it to look like a cartoon or a comic. This is an illustration. This is a pure emotion that is on the page. So I try to stay also very loose with my brush strokes and with the way I just apply layers. So once that's done, I'm just tapping my brush with a bit of ink to make some splatter. In black, I'm going to repeat the same thing with red in a few minutes, but first I go with all the black stuff. So now that I got the red unscrewed as well, I am going in with the splatters first before I apply the bigger blobs of red. So for me, the red actually represents the disease itself. So I'm going to use this pipette thing here to apply a few bigger splotches to the area that the people close to me battle and or battled cancer at, and then I'm just going to let it run by using my hair dryer that is on full speed, and it just makes the ink run. And in my mind, it's a very natural flow of the ink there. So I really like the way the ink behaves, that I can't really control where it goes, at least not that first layer of red ink, and that it actually mixes with the black quite a bit, and therefore makes a quite nice shadowy part of the red things. So I'm adding more red ink with my pipette and then letting it dry for a bit before I'm going in with colored pencils in blue and purple, just to add some more to the cell in the background, a bit more value or just definition there. To me, it creates something like 3D or depth itself, though I stay in the same color scheme as I did before with the inks and the watercolor. So I did all the blues so far with the colored pencils. Now I'm going in with purple. I'm staying at the left side, more on the middle section and the lower parts as well. And I think it just creates, like I said, a bit of dimension and depth here. So now that I'm happy with the colored pencils, I'm just going in with my journaling and or the sentiment. So I use black permanent marker for the title of the page, which is "Fuck Cancer." However, I'm not actually writing fuck, but I'm writing the clean version of the same word, and then I'm going in with my white gel pen just trying to create some dimension there on the lettering. I will go over it so many times until I'm happy, and it's not going to be the full point of that particular sentiment here. So I'm using a white permanent marker, a bigger one with bigger tip, to go over the black lettering. But again, I'm not happy with it, so there will be a lot of layers added to the sentiment there. I decided to go with black ink and red ink for the sentiment, and then try white gel pen on top, since, as you can see here, white ink doesn't help as well. It's not really, it doesn't look as if it would belong there. It looks, the white is a bit see-through, so it's not really a solid sentiment. So I decided not to go with white anymore, but to go with black ink and to really have thick strokes to outline all of the characters in the sentiment. And that actually blends in nicely with the backdrop that I got at that person there. But if you look closely, you can see the sentiment. The thing that will, the words that will come to you way earlier or that are more in focus are going to be added a bit later. So I used the same black ink to kind of outline the spots that people very close to me are battling cancer at, or meanwhile lost the battle. Again, there's 2 cases that just happened, and one of them was lost end of February. So last week was the memorial service, which is pretty much the reason for this page. So I'm adding a bit more of red ink here just to increase the anger or aggressiveness and bloodiness of the page. I want this to be, well, kind of like an illustration slash graffiti slash pure emotion kind of a painting. There's not a lot of technique or knowledge on how to create something when it comes to painting or drawing. I left that part of painting out as much as I could on purpose because I wanted this particular page to be very raw. So now that I got all the ink dry, I'm just going in with my white gel pen again, just adding some details at the sentiment. Again, it's not going to be the focal point of any kind of wording that's going to be added in a few seconds, and then I will call it a day with the page. I let out my anger and my frustration and my, well, helplessness in some way. So that's pretty much closing the chapter of that particular subject in current life, I guess. So I thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, any comments, please let me know in the comment section below. If you haven't already, why not subscribe to the channel? I got lots of art videos and cooking videos and board game videos for you every day of the week. Also, I would very, very much appreciate if you liked and or shared this video with somebody. And I'm going to see you tomorrow with a new Tiny Tuesday. Thank you again for watching. Have a very lovely Monday, and I will see you very, very soon. Goodbye.